Greetings, wayward souls. It's the GamePack Preacher, and if you couldn't exactly tell, I love platformers, and I want other people to love platformers as well. However, there are those out there who've never played a platformer before. Some of you probably don't even know what a platformer is, and that's why we have gathered here today. Class is in session, y'all, and the Preacher Man is going to teach you how to platform like a pro. I mean, you won't be speedrunning or anything anytime soon. This video is going to go over what I think are some important tidbits that'll help you in any platformer you should decide to play. By the end of this, you'll be jumping and bopping with the rest of them in no time, so welcome one and all to the Preacher's Guide to Platforming. Part 1. Your Moveset and You. The first and arguably most important aspect of conquering any platformer is understanding the moves at your disposal. But Preacher, you may ask, surely all you'll be doing is running and jumping, right? Wrong! Well, sort of. Granted, there are many platformers where you won't be doing more than running and jumping, but as the genre has evolved throughout the ages, so too have the methods of traversing these treacherous terrains. It's important to know your tools of the trade, and most games will give you a designated area to try out these different tools. Whether it be easing you in with a few easy levels, a tutorial stage, or a nice open courtyard where you can frolic to your heart's content, don't be afraid to spend your opening moments experimenting. Become one with your mascot, and they will become one with you. Now that you've familiarized yourself with your moveset, we can move on to the next lesson in this section, limit testing. It isn't exactly enough that you're familiar with what you're capable of, so now it's time to find out how far those moves can take you. Literally, how high do your jumps take you? How far can you leap? Are your jumps press sensitive? Can you short hop or just have one universal height? All these questions and more are important to discover the answers to. You may end up surprised with what you'll be able to get away with in some games. Part 2. Observing your surroundings. Being aware of your surroundings is not only an important lesson in life, but also in platforming. This lesson in particular is more for when you find yourself in a more three-dimensional space, however. The addition of an additional axis allows devs to be a lot sneakier as where they may hide some important items, but do not be fooled. Many things can be hidden when there are only two axes to worry about as well. But don't you worry your pretty little heads. We're gonna make sure that... I said we're going to make sure that... We're going to make sure that no game makes a monkey out of you. Let's go over some things that will help you, shall we? Take good looks around your areas. Check high and low. Always look behind you when you start a level. Does anything look off or out of place? If anything in an area looks fragile, perhaps try smashing it or blowing it up. After all, there's no such thing as destruction of property charges. Are there shiny trinkets shaped like an arrow, a letter, or floating over a pit perhaps? Maybe try following them and checking it out. Don't be afraid to lose a life or two for the sake of discovery. Are platforms or other assorted objects moving in recognizable patterns? Take note of those and let them guide your movements. Do characters and signs have words that are bolded or highlighted? Perhaps pay special attention to those. Observation is a key part of success in any platformer. Whether you're observing patterns or potential oddities, if you keep those peepers peeled, okay, maybe not that peeled, your platforming will soar much farther. Part 3. Confidence. Alright, so now that you know how to move and know what to look out for, our final lesson is simple, believing in yourself. But you're probably thinking to yourself, can he really teach me how to be more confident? Well, faithful viewer, I can safely say that, no. That is a challenge for your therapist. What I'm going to teach you is to be more confident in your jumps and actions, and I'm going to do that by utilizing PEEL. No, not that PEEL. I mean the acronym, PEEL. Patience. Envision your actions, execution, learn. Very rarely will you ever be rushed in a platformer. Committing to something too soon will often lead to mistakes. Take your time and envision your course of action in your mind. Maybe it may not help, but I typically find that it does. Once you have a clear picture of what you need to do, all that's left is to do it. When you do commit to your actions, commit fully. Hesitation will most often lead to death, and if you slip up, that's okay. Unless you run out of lives, then it's less okay. But even then, that's what the last letter is for. Learn. Analyze what went wrong. Recognize your mistakes. Try again. That's how you learn, and learning is how you succeed. But before we leave here today, there's one more lesson I'd like to impart on you. Part 4. Have fun. At the end of the day, games are meant to be fun. Sure, performing less than optimally at a game typically isn't fun, but as long as you're having a good time, then that's all that truly matters. Hopefully this wisdom will aid you and anyone else who decides to check out some platformers, whether they be 2D, 3D, collectathons, or any other types of jumpin' boppers out there. So go, you scrappy little scamps, stomp on some heads, collect some MacGuffins, and don't let the skybox limit you. I hope you all enjoyed my little guide/presentation thing, because honestly, I enjoyed making it. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, more to come as always, and be well until then.